Welcome to the Smarter Science of Slim, the scientifically proven program where you eat more and exercise less to burn fat and boost health.
Eat smarter, exercise smarter, live better. I am so ready for that.
Lovely people, this is Carrie Brown, and I have with me the fabulous Mr. Jonathan Bailor.
Carrie, thank you for calling me fabulous. I'm quite honored and happy to be here, joining you today.
Well, we have fun. What's not to love?
We absolutely do. And we're going to have fun continuing with our lovely reader questions, which again, sorry I keep saying this, but please, if you have questions, ask them. We love them. Do it over at the Smarter Science of Slim support group. Please do not do it in a private email or a private message, because we want this lovely Q&A to be available to the world so we can all benefit.
Not to be pedantic, but they're listeners, Lovey, not readers. They're listening to us.
Oh, I said readers.
You did.
I am incorrect. I stand corrected. And I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it one more time just as a reminder. If you do have a question, we've been doing this for a couple of years now. Chances are it may have already been answered. So feel free to go read your favorite search engine, type in Smarter Science of Slim in quotations, then type in your question. And chances are you will find an answer for it already, which is great.
Love that. Modern technology is fantastic.
It's like, is there an app for that? Well, kind of. It's called Google. That happened to me the other day. I felt kind of bad. My brother sent me an email and said, hey, I have a friend, read your book, and he has this question. And it was super basic. Like, it was just go on Google and type in the question, and because it wasn't even specific to the Smarter Science of Slim. It was something like, I don't know, like, how do you make an omelet or something like that? And I was just like, Google, how to make an omelet. Google is useful, so is Bing. Anyway, I digress. Carrie Brown, Timothy Evans has a question for us.
Hi, Timothy.
Timothy says a bunch of very nice things about the podcast, which we very, very much appreciate. And he is a gentleman who very much enjoys exercising. He has been lifting weights for 9 years, 3 to 4 times a week, and he does the traditional Joe Weider-inspired split routine where you do different body parts on different days, 4 to 6 sets per major muscle group, that kind of thing. And he's basically just asking, does it sound like something could be beneficial when incorporated into a sane diet and lifestyle? My goal is similar to your goal, which is to add lean mass, but to do so with health being my number one concern. Appreciate your time. Look forward to your thoughts. So thank you, Tim. Good question. Carrie, I know you don't care too much about this. Answer this one.
Was it so obvious that my eyes glazed over?
Good thing they are just listeners and not viewers otherwise. So, Tim, the key thing to keep in mind, right, is just do what you enjoy. Do what works for you. But the science is quite clear that if we fully fatigue our muscle fibers, like once a muscle fiber is taken to failure, it's taken to failure. Taking it to failure repeatedly is a bit like continuing to boil hot water with the intention of making it hotter. Once water is boiling, it's boiling.
The boiling point is...
You just, and in fact, you're just wasting energy, and it may become counterproductive. That's it. If you like it, it's all good. You just want to watch out for overtraining. A lot of people will unintentionally overtrain. So the key thing to keep in mind is if what you're doing is working and you like it, that's great. There's really no need to change it. Now, if something happens in your life and you don't have as much time on your hands and you need to cut back, good news. We can help you with that. Or if you just don't really want to keep going to the gym that frequently, good news. We can help you with that. Or maybe if you want to keep going to the gym, just focus on training a little bit more slowly. Focus on using a little bit more resistance. Focus a little bit more on the eccentric portions of your movement. And in fact, maybe expand your exercise repertoire to include things like maybe a yoga or a Tai Chi. Things which are an excellent complement to strength training. So now you can still go to the gym, but work on things like your flexibility. Work on muscle groups that you may have never worked on before because they're not traditionally worked on in most strength training routines. So all kinds of exciting and fun ways to spend time in the gym if you like doing that. Just keep in mind that, again, it's about recruiting as many muscle fibers as possible. And the way you do that is by using more resistance. And if you use more resistance, you have to use less volume, less frequency, and less duration, simply because there's an inverse relationship between the quality of an exercise and the quantity of it that you can do. Bottom line, do what works for you and let the science guide you.
You're awesome.
Woohoo!
I'd just sit here and because my answer would have been resistance, not reps. And then we get this eloquent, beautiful, just all-encompassing wonderfulness of an answer from Mr. Bailor.
Well,
thank goodness you're here.
You called me fabulous, and you just gave me that. So I don't know.
I don't know what's wrong with me
I got
today.
Carrie a fresh glass of water, so maybe I need to bring her more glasses of water more frequently. I love it. All right, Carrie. Next question is from the lovely Denise Adams. Carrie, why don't you take this one?
Denise has a question. She bought the book. She read. She's listened to the podcast. She's very excited. And she wants to know if we've heard of a program called Ideal Protein. She was thinking of using it to jumpstart her program. She's about 20 pounds overweight, and she's been that way for 2 years now, and she's really kind of just getting fed up with that.
You can talk, but when you're done, I'm so excited to answer this one.
Okay, go.
Can I go?
Go.
Okay, so a couple things. Less than 5% of the population was overweight way before the Ideal Protein program existed. So the Ideal Protein program cannot be required to not be overweight. I don't know what the Ideal Protein program is, but I can promise you that eating whole, natural foods and doing a little but higher quality exercise is more sustainable and as effective, if not more effective, than any trendy, fancy program. And
Spendy, don't forget Spendy.
Program. I don't know what the Ideal Protein program is. It might be lovely. The thing to keep in mind, though, is that and remember, I have some of the inside scoop on some of this stuff, right? And here's me, Jonathan, being open and honest. I'm trying to figure out right now, Carrie and I, we give a lot of information away. Yes. And we have full-time jobs, and it's hard to there's always people looking for ways to monetize information. And when you call something like a very specific program thing that you have to do, and if you don't do this program, nothing else is going to work. Here's the bottom line. None of those programs existed before we had a problem. So bottom line, maybe they work. I don't know. But do you need to spend that much money and do something that unnatural when if we just ate real whole foods, moved, and did a little high intensity safe exercise, we'd be good to go. Like, just do that. Just do that for 30 days. And you will be happier and healthier and have more money in your pocket.
And more time on your hands.
And this idea of like, I'm getting desperate. I totally feel for you, Denise. And I would posit that you may be feeling desperate because you've tried things like this special program X and this special program Y and this special program Z. And you're not at fault because that's what we're constantly bombarded with is there's this special, secret, nuanced program where if we just knew this Hollywood tip or trick, okay, a couple things. One, if anything is effective, it's not a secret. Like there's a reason everyone's heard of the Atkins diet. A lot of people who go on the Atkins diet lose a lot of weight. And there's a lot of research showing that a very low carbohydrate diet, when practiced properly, as for example in the new Atkins for a New You book, where Doctors Westman, Folek, and Finney Finney, it's incredibly healthy and has profound effects. Anything that's effective is not a secret, and the person selling it would never try to keep it a secret because they're trying to make money. So first of all, if anyone says like they've got a secret, they don't. That's a gimmick. Second of all, they certainly don't have a secret because there is no secret to health. All we have to do to not become sick is not expose ourselves to things that make us sick.
Jonathan?
What? Sorry.
You need to stop banging on the table.
Oh, I'm banging on the table. I get excited about this stuff because Denise is like so many of us, and like I was, and I know you were, Carrie, before we learned this science, where it's just like there are these charlatans out there saying that there's this special thing or this one thing we're missing.
Raspberry ketones.
Raspberry ketones. If you don't want to have the flu, you don't need magic. You just need the flu virus to not go in your body. If you do not want to become overweight, there is no magic pill. It's just there are substances which cause your body to lose its natural ability to regulate your energy balance. They're called processed starches, sugars, and fats. Processed fats, because other fats are good for us. If you eat those, chances are your body's going to break down, you're going to become overweight, you're going to become diabetic, you're going to get heart disease, probably get cancer. If you don't eat those things and you eat whole natural foods, things you found in nature, things every single person up until 40 years ago ate and stayed healthy and fit without even knowing what a calorie was or even knowing what exercise was, if you just do that, you will do what every other human being who has ever lived up until the last 3 generations has done. And that's stay slim and healthy without really trying. So please, if you feel desperate, take that desperation and channel it into the beautiful simplicity that is eating real whole foods. Just commit yourself completely to that. If you can't find it in nature, don't eat it directly in nature. There's no such thing as a Cheerios tree or a bread bush. If you cannot find it directly in nature, wheat, you don't eat wheat directly in nature. It has to be milled and turned into bread. If you cannot find it directly in nature, steer away from it. Please, please, please don't fall victim to the secrets and the gimmicks. Okay, I get too excited about this, so I'm just going to stop. Denise, I love you. Hopefully that was helpful.
That was a very long answer. But once again, brilliant.
Goodness sakes. Carrie, do you have anything to add? I'm kind of drained right now because I usually get angry about some of this stuff. But
I completely feel your pain, Denise. I have been on the dark side, as all of our listeners know. But if you follow all the things, which actually wasn't a lot, he just said it a lot of different ways. But if you follow what Jonathan just said, that is your best, healthiest, fastest route to getting where you want to be.
Carrie, I'm gonna say it one more time because I don't actually think for a lot of us this has really set in. Because when it does set in, it's impossible not to have your life transformed. Let me give you an example. And this is why sometimes people still say to me, Jonathan, this is really an information problem. Like, don't we really know what to do? People just don't do it. And I tell them no. And here's the example I give. I have never met a mother or a father who knowingly gives their child cigarettes. Just like, oh, here, Billy, here, have a cigarette. Why? Because they know just how deleterious cigarettes are to their child's health. They know that. The child may very well love it. They're addictive. They're brilliant. People who smoke really, really enjoy it, but we still don't give cigarettes to children. We don't sell them in schools, yada, yada, yada. That's because we know how bad they are for us. We know how permanent the damage is, and we know how pervasive the damage is, and we know how addictive they are. Once you understand just how horrible edible products are, just because it's sold in the grocery store, does not mean it's harmless in moderation. It doesn't at all. The more we're learning about these things, the more we're seeing how it causes inflammation in your brain, the more we're seeing how it causes permanent. When you get fat cells, they never go away. 70% of overweight children will struggle with overweight for their entire lives.
Because they have fat cells. They have more fat cells now.
They are predisposed for the rest of their life to struggling with obesity. And even if someone did let their child smoke, which would be horrific, the child smoking wouldn't really affect their psychological experience. Like, kids wouldn't not go to the prom with them because they smoke, and they wouldn't necessarily be teased or called fat or not picked for a team because they smoked. But when we eat these edible products, we not only damage ourselves metabolically, but we experience so much psychological damage. So it's doubly bad. So the reason I bring this up is, like, literally, once you understand that just because it's edible doesn't mean you should eat it, or just because a food marketer markets it
as delicious does not mean it's healthy.
Does not mean it's healthy. Once you understand how addictive these things are and how permanent and pervasive the damage is, I feel like it's hard not for that to change you, as evidenced by the fact that, like, now that everyone knows smoking is bad for, that doesn't mean no one smokes. It just means no one smokes, then gets lung cancer and is like,
surprised.
How the hell did I get lung cancer? I'm desperate to not have lung cancer anymore. Everyone who gets lung cancer and who has smoked is like, yep, that's what happens when you smoke. I get it. And when we can make that mental shift to understand that when we eat non-food, it breaks our body in a way that when you breathe in, when you eat polluted food, it breaks down your metabolic system, like when you breathe in polluted air, breaks down your respiratory system. They are analogous. One causes lung cancer, the other causes diabetes, other cancers, heart disease, and obesity. It's an information problem. Just like they used to cover up how bad cigarettes are for you, they're covering up how bad edible products are for you, but they're losing, and they will lose in the coming decades, and we can be the catalyst to help that change. That's what I'm desperate for. I'm desperate for us to be the catalyst to embrace the simple, the truly simple nature of health, which is eat, food, and move. That's it.
And if you couldn't tell, lovely listeners, Jonathan is really passionate
Oh
about
my God,
this.
I'm sweaty. I got all sweaty. We have to move on to a different question because I will literally keep talking about this. Okay, next question. All right, here we go. There's actually a couple good questions here. So, first question.
Who's it from?
I don't know. G. Nickel. What up, G. Nickel? So, can we substitute within SANE, the various SANE food groups we talk about, non-starchy vegetables, whole food fats, nutrient-dense proteins, and low-fructose fruits, to obtain the desired number of SANE servings per day? For example, can we add either low-fructose fruit or nutrient-dense protein if we can't get enough veggies? So, to be very concrete, if I can't eat 10 non-starchy vegetables in a day, could I just eat, and I can only eat 5, should I just eat 5 additional servings of fruit or 5 additional servings of protein?
Well, you should. Oh, it's not funny. Jonathan's making me laugh. I was going to say that veggies are your first. That's the most important thing. Get your 10 servings of non-starchy veggies in. However, if you're in a place where you absolutely cannot, staying sane is better than being insane.
Yeah. So what Carrie said is true, right? If you have to choose between starving to death and eating more low fructose fruit or protein, eat more low fructose fruit or protein, but do not think that I can't eat 10 servings of non-starchy vegetables, so I am going to eat 10 servings of low fructose fruit.
Right.
That is, do not do that.
So you can't, unless you're in a situation where you can't, you should not switch out the food groups with each other.
Exactly. The one, and there is a little bit of a nuance here. We talked about non-starchy vegetables, non-negotiable. They got to happen. They're therapeutic. Nutrient-dense protein, again, non-negotiable therapeutic. We have talked about how for some people, maybe eating a bit more low fructose fruit and a bit less whole food fat may work better for them. And for other people, especially people who have struggled with overweight and weight cycling, eating a bit more whole food fat in place of some of the low fructose fruit may work better for them. So you can kind of switch those two, but switching the protein with the vegetables, no, those are fixed.
But if you're just starting out, or your choice is between something in SANE or one of the SANE groups, go with the SANE group.
Absolutely. I love it. Last question. Is there too much? Is it possible to have too much? This is again from G. Nicole. Is it possible to have too much of either vegetables, proteins, or fats per day?
Is it possible? It's not possible to eat too many non-starchy veggies. Your stomach would explode before you could do that, and you don't want that. It is possible to eat too much protein and fats.
And low fructose fruits.
And low fructose fruits.
Yeah. So, Carrie said it all. Yep. There you go.
Yes, that's a kind of a simple, clear-cut answer.
No. Yep. When in doubt, eat more non-starchy vegetables.
Yes.
Read my lips. More non-starchy vegetables, to make a quote from a long time ago. And Carrie, that was so fast, we can actually do one more question. So thank you, G. Nicole, for all the wonderful questions. And they're short, which we love. G. Nicole asks, I see that a 300... this is a good one. Good job, G. Nicole. I see that a 350 milliliter can of V8 claims to have the equivalent of 3 servings of vegetables. Can I drink V8 juice instead of or as my sources of non-starchy vegetables?
I can't tell, for I've got to look at a label to be able to give you the right answer to that.
So the key thing in general here, so juice is not a whole food. Remember, we're about whole foods. Juice is the whole food with all the fiber extracted. And we know that a key part of a sane lifestyle is fiber, right? Water, fiber, protein. Juice of any kind is not swappable for anything because it's not a whole food. Now, if you want to take your own vegetables and make your own V8 juice out of your own vegetables, that's brilliant. I've done that. Put some peppers in there, some carrots, some tomato. It's delicious.
But don't juice.
Don't juice.
Put it all in the Vitamix and blend the living daylights out of it.
Like everything, if your choice is between drinking a soda and drinking a V8, drink the V8, but please do not see the V8 or anything. Odawalla, Naked, what is the Jamba Juice, any of these things masquerading as blended goodness, not blended goodness.
If you have the opportunity to read the label, I would highly encourage you to do it with any kind of juice, because you just flip it over and see how much sugar is in it, and that will give you your answer right there.
And to end on a positive note, Carrie, and this is right up your ballpark, actually, and the individual's name is Gary. I'm seeing at the end of the post it's Gary. So probably Gary, Nicole. Gary, what about soup? My wife made a great squash homemade soup. Is this a viable option for getting more veggies?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Fantastic soups. We love soups, and smoothies are the absolute best way to get the maximum amount of non-starchy veggies into your day.
And often Carrie has given amazing examples. So the smoothies often are going to be sweeter options, and the soups, they're just kind of like savory smoothies that you eat out of a bowl, basically.
Yep, absolutely.
And they're incredibly filling and incredibly delicious.
And they're very comforting too.
Yep. And you can find them at
carriebrown.com.
Thank you for the wonderful questions, listeners, and thank you for putting up for me on my soapbox. I'm going to literally go do a few yoga poses right now because I'm not kidding. I'm sweaty and a little upset. So thank you for the great questions. Get me fired up. And remember, this week and every week after, let's keep slim simple. Let's make sure we're actually becoming more healthy as we try to be healthy. And let's eat more and exercise less, but do that smarter. Chat with you soon.
See ya.
Wait, don't stop listening yet.
You can get fabulous free SANE recipes over at carriebrown.com.
And don't forget your 100% free eating and exercise quick start program, as well as free, fun, daily tips delivered right into your inbox at bailorgroup.com. That's BAILOR group.com.